everybody. It's a special day, you guys. We are going to be doing a special interview with one of my awesome pals. Once again, I met this guy when me and him were doing a art exhibition in BSB Art Gallery. And ever since then, we just really clicked off and had a great time of not just only cultivating one another, but learning and respecting one another's artwork. And it's going to be a little interesting. I'm using my phone and computer at the same time. But hey, at the end of the day, it's all about getting that interview going. And I'm just glad that this is going to be able to be more functioning. So definitely say hello to the people. I got you all live. Hey, man, how's you doing today?
Oh, not bad. I'm still kicking.
That's good. Let me see if I can get you a little bit more wider there. Ah, there we go. So how's everything, man?
Everything's everything.
I feel you. Just spreading the love, right?
Yeah, preparing for this interview, you know.
100. Alrighty. So please tell us. I mean, I could say and ramble so much about you, but I think you can tell a little bit better of yourself. So tell me, who are you, dude? Everybody's wondering, who are you?
Well, my name is Charles Trott, and I bill myself as, because this is what I've made a living at most of my life, as a visual artist and arts educator.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty dope.
The reason I say arts, even though my certification, which is Art Education K-12, says art, meaning visual art, but I say now arts, because I always paralleled and showed the connection between music and painting or drawing or sculpture, between poetry, between, other art forms. So that's why I pluralize art and say arts educator.
Got you. And then you also identify as visual artist as well. Can you tell me your definition of that?
I'm sorry.
Oh, did you hear me? I said you also consider yourself as a visual artist too, and can you go into depths of that as well?
Right. Well, as a visual artist, of course, my specialty, or what I usually do, is illustration. I like to use ebony pencil, but I'll use almost any pencil, from a number 2, standard number 2 we write with every day, to colored pencil, pastels, chalks, to charcoal, whatever is necessary. I like to draw with my hand. I also do murals, so I bill myself as a muralist, but of course, I'm a little out of practice because I haven't done it in a couple years. But I love murals because of the size. Not all good or great things are measured on size, but in our visual cacophony, I mean, you look around, it's art all around you. You don't even know.
Exactly.
When you see some fine art or something that you can recognize as painted or drawn on a wall, and it's as big, it's monumental, in other words. It's bigger than you. It captures your attention, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So that's doing murals many years ago, and I've done them over the years up until now.
Cool. And is that one of the examples of one of your works behind you?
Yes. This, let me get myself out the way and you can see it perhaps a little better.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you about it. This particular piece, I forget the measurement on it, but I think it's like 50 inches by about 32 or something like that.
So that's way longer than your arm.
I did this back in 14. After my first trip to Cuba. And I was so impressed with these. I don't know if you can really see. There are 3 drummers. They're women. They all have head wraps on them. Anyway, there were 3 in Cuba when we went to go see Folklorico Nacional. And this is the group, and that group is actually a school as well as a performing which I wasn't familiar with. I'm familiar with congas, bongos,
Mm-hmm.
the djembe and all that, but I wasn't familiar with these batas. And the bata basically it's sort of like a bongo, but
Ah.
it's played horizontally and it has two heads. So
Oh yeah.
You play vertically. Your
Mm-hmm.
bata you play horizontally.
That's pretty dope. So I mean I realized I wanted to also show the people's your website. I wanted to be correct. I wanted to make sure I'm correct on it. It is called, let me share the folks and share with you too. Here we go. So it is called diaprojects.org. That is your website. Tell us a little bit more about why you chose and what do actually DIA stand for? Because you could say it better for me.
Well, as you can see, your cursor is now, well, it was pointing at the world, but DIA is an acronym for what you see at the bottom in yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Diasporic Images of Africa.
Mm.
And what that does is show the connection of Africa to countries and cultures around the world. There's nowhere that Africa has not touched or influenced. And I do this, because I'm a visual artist and because I'm an arts educator, I use art to help tell the story. I focus, DIA, it's not all I'm doing, but I've been focusing on the what I call five classical history months. Start at the beginning of the year, in February, we have Black history or African American history. In March, we have women's history. In May, we just had, and still have, because it's still May, Asian and Pacific Islander history.
Yes.
In September and October, of course, we have Latino or Hispanic history, and then in November, we have Native, I prefer to call it, not Native American, but Indigenous American history. And let me just say, the reason I say Indigenous is because of the definitions of the two words. They seem like synonyms, but if you break it down, you can be a native to establish residency on a particular geographic place. So how long have you been there? Oh, a day or two. I'm a resident. I'm a native New Yorker, native Asbury, but you only been there a day or two. Indigenous refers to people who have been in this particular portion of the world, that geography, for centuries, if not millennia.
Yes.
Thousands of years.
And what I do love about majority of your artwork is that it does deals with culture. And can you give us insight why you focus on the importance of culture in your artwork?
Well, art is culture. But why do I focus on that as opposed to still lifes and landscapes and just portraiture? Through my lens, in my world, most people that I know or even don't know and observe, they don't seem to be too conscious of the term culture. And culture basically refers to, a way of life, your rituals, your institutions, foods, various things that you do to create your life. We here in the Americas, our African American culture, well, we know it's, music is very important. The church has been very important.
Yes.
Our foods are important. And I'm not talking about the junk foods. I'm talking about what, grandma used to make. Boy, she was throwing down greens and smoke. There's very few, I would think, African Americans or black people here that don't color greens. I don't care if you were silver spoon in your mouth or you couldn't find a spoon.
Exactly.
No collard greens. Fried chicken. Come on now. But some of these dishes go back. And if you look at the diaspora of obvious African descendants, black people, African Americans, you will see that Well, we eat a lot of the same things. We may cook them a little differently. And
Mm-hmm.
you and I in America may have black-eyed peas and rice,
Mm-hmm.
whereas many Latino cultures will have black beans and rice, or some other type of bean. It's
Mm-hmm.
still beans
Civil
or
being.
rice, or rice and
Yes,
beans.
exactly. So it's still, you're pretty much showing that we can still embrace each other and realize at the end of the day, we practically are one, united culture itself. We just blend it all differently. And
Right,
that's
right.
really just amazing because you do practically, show that fluently through your work. And I wanted to speak about one of the art pieces that I did have in mind of looking into further depths. I actually put it onto the poster too, by the way. Let me see if I could pull that
Mhm.
art piece up because yes, it's this one. Can you see it?
Right, I see it. The
Yeah.
old Mac. And
Yeah.
not all the time do I write, have
Oopsie.
words
Sorry.
on the composition. You saw that second one; it had no words.
Yeah.
But there's a fair amount of them where I do put words. So I wanted people to be clear as to what they were looking at. This is not just a face. This is a representation of a giant basalt head found in I believe down in the state of Veracruz in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
They've since found many of them, and they're up in Mexico City, and some are still down there. But this is one of the Olmec. And who are the Olmec? The Olmec, obviously, if you look at the features, just look at the features.
Mm-hmm.
They are, and many of them have very similar features to that, a West African people. Not a West Asian, not a West European, not a Caribbean, but a West African people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, when I said giant basalt head, I believe this one stands just over 6 feet. And I don't remember how much it weighs.
Wow.
But these people are actually the foundation of the Mexican culture
Really?
and civilization. Their heyday, their time where their civilization was strong and occurring lasted from about 1500 BC to about 500 AD. Down in Mexico.
Wow.
And even the Mexican government and intelligentsia has admitted not the Maya are the mother culture, it is the Olmec. See, when I was coming through and was your age, or they always spoke about the Maya.
Mm-hmm.
No, they recently admitted, I don't remember in the last couple of years, that it is the Olmec that is the mother of their civilization, or the foundation of their civilization.
So let me come back. And that's just really fascinating. And how long does it take you to do, well, you can answer me that one. How long did it take you to do that particular piece?
I don't remember, because I'm a terrible artist. I'll work 20 minutes, a half an hour here, then I'll be gone for 2 days. Then I'll come back and spend 2, 3 hours. I don't know.
The usual.
Yeah, I'm just so undisciplined. I tell you, it's pathetic to me. But I'm pretty sure. Well, anyway, it was however long. It didn't take me too long because I did a similar piece. When I say too long, it didn't take me long to come up with the composition and realize what it should look like. Because I did a similar piece some years ago, about 15, 20 years ago, and someone bought it. I don't have a record of it. I said, it's time to put this up here again. Because Cuba, once again, and prior to Cuba, actually, which set me on this African history love affair. What's it been? It's been 15 years ago that I first finally got to the continent. Now, here's a guy in his early 50s at that time. Okay. Finally wanted to get this since he was 18. Took him almost 40 years to get there, but I finally get there. Where do I go? I wind up in Egypt, the classic.
Wow.
And that really inspired me to look into and learn more about African history in particular,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the diaspora. Then, some 6 years ago, I first visited Cuba,
Okay.
and that sinking it all in, and that made me start to, after leaving the original Olmec drawing, remember that I'm going to use maps as a part of my compositions.
Wow.
I may use words, I may use numbers, I may use symbols, I may
Mm-hmm.
use all of them, but I'm always going to use maps. And the outline of Africa, since that's what I'm showing people, there's a connection with the outline of Africa over there and whoever I'm talking about.
Wow.
If you could see this one closely, you would see that there's an outline of Africa, and there's an outline of the northern Caribbean anyway. This here is the tip of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
This here is the tip of Mexico going into Central America and, South America. And your outline of Africa. Why the outline? Why the maps? Because most people, even so-called educated people, they don't recognize where some of these places are.
Yeah.
So I'm asking them to go and see. These are no cartographic, masterpieces, but the basic shapes are there.
Wow.
And if you know your map and you know your geography, you'll say, oh wow, they're talking about China. Oh wow, he's talking about Mexico. Oh wow, he's talking about Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just necessary.
And it's really helpful for one another to really actually learn to adapt the two together. And what I really, really love is that it brings more knowledge and insight for us to connect to one another with your artistry. So, which brings me to, why is, art education important to have in our schools?
Visual art, well, okay. We are visual artists. We draw, we paint, we carve, we do prints, whatever. But the performing arts, which I always say music is probably the most readily and easily accepted art form, and almost everybody relates to that. Now, a lot of people may not relate too much to visual art. They may not even like other forms of performing art, or I doubt it. But to talk about one is to talk about only half of our story. So why is it important in the schools? Well, number one, the arts were the original subjects before they had to name things like language arts, science, geometry, social studies. This was being studied in many of the African countries and throughout Asia even thousands of years ago. We're not taught that.
Exactly.
Okay, but things progressed until we got public education, which didn't occur until what, 1700s in America or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're the originals. Someone asked me, one of my principals when I was teaching, he said, how can you connect the various academic subjects to art? How does art demonstrate or illustrate language arts? How does it illustrate math? And so I said, well, let's start with math. If you have a canvas or a paper or whatever, and you want to draw an apple, well, you have to decide how big your apple is going to be in conjunction with the piece of paper or the canvas. That's math. Okay, let's go to how does art deal with things like geography? Well, there's visual art, cartography. It had to be drawn through mathematics.
Exactly.
Going back to that, okay, knowing longitude, latitude, and all of that. All right, move on to, well, the language arts. We have examples of that: poetry, acting, drama, and all of that. So, how can it relate? I just told you. You need any more examples?
Exactly. I think you just proved another point. We could go to Egypt. They didn't even have words. They had to use images to tell every single history.
Excellent point that you brought up. I forgot to say that. A lot of the early, before the Maya, the Toltec, the Olmec, all of them,
Yeah.
they use symbols and images as
Exactly.
words, similar to what the Kemites or the ancient Egyptians used. When you look at so-called hieroglyphics, you don't see any letters.
Exactly.
You know, even if you go to, let's go to cuneiform, which goes back to ancient, I believe it's Iraq or Iraq, one or two. But it's nothing but a series of skinny triangles, wedge designs. And this all was happening thousands of years ago. So now we get here and we have a script, or we have an Arabic script, we have a English script, the one we use. We have a Chinese, we have a Japanese.
Yes.
We have, it's progressed, and we have, and once again, all of those so-called letters are nothing but shapes and symbols.
Yep.
So, but these things aren't pointed out in our public education K through 12.
Yeah.
We need these things. And I don't want to, me and people like me, are the ones that bring this out in students doing art. It's not just about coloring, as one of my students said. No, we're supposed to be coloring. It's not just about mixing colors.
Yes.
It's not just about forming clay.
Yeah.
There's a lot that is expressed, and you need to know to create art, even on the simplest level.
Yeah. And see, I think you practically just taught us something through teaching this interview. I think this wasn't an interview anymore. I think this was just an educational moment right now.
Right. Well, there are other artists from various disciplines that will describe it differently, but I think they will, most of them will come to a similar conclusion of the importance of the arts, and not necessarily just the art form they do.
Yeah.
And many people throughout life who, as they go on to become professionals or do it for a long period in their life, if you take them back and ask them, how'd you get involved in art? They say it was the only thing that saved me. It was the only thing when that brought me up from a very deep and dark time.
Exactly.
It's therapeutic, and like I tell people,
Yes.
it's the cheapest therapy you can get. So sit your behind down, pick up a pencil, get on the paper, or pick up your guitar and start strumming. I know you're out of tune. Well, no problem. Tune it up.
I think people know why I love you.
Yeah, right. Okay, I'm the comedian. I know. But if I were a comedian, they'd never pay me. But I know how to use levity in things that I feel are serious too. I don't want to glaze over.
Yeah, I feel you. Because, I mean, it's just the love. I just love the passion that you have about just showing your appreciation of culture through your artwork. It's so extremely respectable. Definitely, that just brings me to my last question to you is, how do you use your art to change the world?
I use my art as an educational tool. I'm not like, I think it was Paul Robeson who said something about art's not just to glorify or show life. Art is used to show how life can be.
Yeah. So
we as artists, whether we're painters, sculptors, illustrators, photographers, dancers, musicians, we're giving people a slice of us that shows the people what we're focusing on, what we feel is important, what we feel they should take a look at. Whether they like it or not, take a look at it and think about this. You hear a beautiful song for the first time, you start thinking about it, you start feeling it. You hear someone, well, like they say now, spit some rhymes or whatever, when you understand it and it tells a vivid story to you, you start thinking about it. you see a beautiful dress.
That's true.
Aside from buying it, you start thinking about, wow, how did that, ooh, why does that, you know? So we're the ones that sort of guide the world through this world by showing them through our art what we feel we need to look at again.
Well, thank you so much. That is just brilliant. Like, I just really truly wish that we, like, before this whole outbreak, I wish we really did have that time to do the women's panel, because I know that was that's part of another project you do too, is that during different months like Women History, Black History, and even like right now of this month with the Asian month, you usually do you usually host it in Asbury Park Library, correct?
Right. For the last, I guess it was 3 years, they've given me a platform there where I can, for each history month, I can do a presentation, which consists of a brief slideshow, of course, me speaking, usually other artists' work and my own, and we talk about the month. The month based on the theme I picked. Okay. I didn't pick a theme for Asian Pacific Islander History Month this month, but it loosely had to do, of course, with the Pacific Islands, and one in particular, Kiribati, and how climate change is affecting it.
Yeah.
See, we here in the United States, there's still too many of us who don't think climate change is coming to America. It's happening to America. Well, I don't know what you need. I guess you need it to just fall, and you know, when the wave comes and takes you away, and you're in Pittsburgh and the wave is coming, maybe you'll get it then. You know. Anyway, you know, I choose themes for the history months, and as actually the theme for the last history month before the Asian month in March was war on all things feminine. That was Women's History Month 2020's theme.
Yes.
Well, I chose that, and well, anyway, we will revisit it, Creator Willie, in 2021 in Women's History Month.
And I'll be there.
Right. Because I didn't get a chance to do it, but you know, it's these things like my art that I just want to bring to the public's attention. I explained to them I'm not the big brain. Some of the information I'm just learning, minutes to days before you.
True.
But a lot of it I have taken advantage of going and doing a little research. And I bring it to you because I know the vast majority of the public was not taught the things I am talking about.
That's true.
These history month themes. I use authors that have been around long before me. You know, J.A. Rogers, W.E.B. Du Bois, and you know others. Marcus Garvey. Ivan Van Sertima, who's a much, you know, he's more of our contemporary, although he's passed on. He was within our lifetime. You know, and others, to dig up and show the connections between Africa, because these authors have done the history work. They have put grabbed together the anthropologists, the archaeologists, the linguists, you know, the various disciplines to write what they're writing about African history as it relates to wherever we're talking about in the world, be it Asia, be it Europe, be it here in the Americas, be it out in Oceania, or what you would call the Pacific Islands, and, well, the southern Pacific Islands specifically, you know, down there, down under, Australia, New Zealand, and all that, but all the Pacific Islands. So, that's my bit. Just want to shed a little knowledge with the world. And I also say, fact check me. If I'm wrong, come on back and tell me I'm wrong, because see, I'm going to learn too.
That's
I'm
true.
supposed to be a good teacher. I've always supposed to be a good teacher, not necessarily a great one, but good teachers do not just teach; they learn from their students.
That's
so
true.
If I'm talking to whoever it is, who in theory is my student, and they show me a fact or show me that no, it's not this way, look at it again, I'm not mad at them.
Yeah.
I'm glad. And if they surpass me, I'm even gladder, because I had a little thing to do with them being who they are today.
That's so true. That is so true. So once again, my beautiful folks, I'm going to show them the website again so they can know exactly where to go to. And I know, just like how we spoke earlier, you do have past and even current images of your own work. Definitely go to diaproject.org. You can search that up. He has practically a cute little blog about the displays that he did at the library as well. Got it in different yeah, and you also did African American History Month as well, 2020. And that was really, I sadly couldn't attend because I also got invited to another Black History event. But it was still, yeah, but it was still it was really great. I was still happy to see the ending result, and I was so excited for the women's herstory. And but definitely everybody come and support my home guy Charles out here. He's doing his thing. All you have to do is just go onto his website, and you can contact him through here. You can leave your name, your first, your last, and email if you want to have any questions, comments, or just any pretty much concerns. This is the quickest way to like pretty much reach him and to learn even more about him. If you just even want just something positive in your day, if you're bored and you just want somebody to talk to, oh, trust me, this guy will talk to you. This guy will give you your whole works and worth of having a great, insightful, and spiritual just moment with him. I just love Charles. I can't help it. I was like telling my mom, and I was like telling my mom, I was like, I'm so excited for Charles because he's like such a fun guy. He's really, really is. And I truly, truly appreciate your time. I continue to pray and send my love and positivity to not only you, but all your loved ones in your community, just the whole entire fam and friends. And I know this situation is just a situation. It's not our destination. I tell that all the time,
Right. Well said.
100%. So definitely thank you guys for tuning into my awesome interview with Charles the Trott. Hello, say hello. So definitely thank you guys for watching, and definitely stay tuned for Monday, a new art teaching lesson that I'll be teaching you guys. And once again, we are all in this together. We're going to love together. We're going to create art together. And in his words, we're going to educate together. So I kind of like that too. So now I'm going to include that as well. So thank you again, you guys. And you guys stay blessed, stay safe, stay loved. Bye.